What's up guys, it's A Brady aka AA Ron, and I'm really excited about today's video because we're going to be going over my top 20 favorite things about this truck. Let's get right into it. Alright, starting off with number one, it's going to require a hood pop real quick. So let's put my notebook right there. Sounds like somebody's shooting bottles or something, but alright, let's pop the hood. All right, number one, my favorite thing about this truck is the turbo. I've always wanted to have a turbocharged vehicle. This is a VS Racing 7875 Gen 2.5, so it's got the billet impeller, and it has been awesome. It's a T4 style turbo. I got the heat blanket on there now, and I bought this in a kit which came with the intercooler piping, the oil feed line, the return line, the turbo obviously, the intercooler itself, which is tucked right down in there, the blow-off valve, and the wastegate. So great buy and very happy with this. Okay, number two, we're gonna hop right back into the truck interior. And number two is something that works quite well with that turbocharger. It's my Motion Raceworks ratchet shifter, and I'm gonna count this as part of the transmission because the transmission has a full manual valve body, reverse pattern, and it is a stage 4 or 1000 horsepower rated transmission from Winter Circle Transmissions down here in Texas. It's a Turbo 400, and the reason I love this transmission and shifter is because I've got my trans brake button right on it, and it's very easy to go through the gears. I really enjoy while I'm driving going 1, slap it 2, slap it 3, and then super easy to go back down into reverse, neutral, or park. All right, and for number 3, we're gonna stay right in the truck. It's one that I just would have dropped a video on. If you're seeing this video, it would have been the last video that I put out, and it's this new steering wheel. I haven't really gotten to use it a lot, but just the look itself and how much it cleans up this interior, that's why it's getting number 3. Well worth the money. This was like a $300 Canadian upgrade or $200 US dollars for the money. I think that's probably one of the best like bang for your buck upgrades that you can do to one of these old interiors. All right, now right after the steering wheel, coming in at number 4, is right behind the steering wheel. And no, it's not this United by Trucks keychain. That's a cool keychain, but it's what's on here. It's this exhaust cutout. So I'll play some exhaust clips for you here. When the truck is running, it goes through 2 mufflers. It goes through a vibrant race muffler and a vibrant resonator. And then when I hit this button, the cutouts bypass that, give it a little bit deeper tone and noticeably less restriction with the turbocharger. So let's do a couple startup clips here and show you the difference when the valve is closed versus open. As a cold start, we'll let it warm up for a minute and we'll let that idle calm down and we'll get some more exhaust clips for you. Alright, it's at about 140 right now. That's probably about the RPM that it usually idles at, like 850 I think is what my tuner has it set at, or 900, somewhere in there. So we'll open up the dump and get a comparison. remote at the receiver, and the receiver is just under the dash, so. All right, so on to number 5. So far, everything has been very like sense driven. What's the engine feel like? What's the steering feel like? But there's one thing that you don't see while the truck is driving, going by, or sitting in a parking lot that I think is really cool and unique for this truck. And that is the Mustang independent rear suspension from a 2016 Mustang GT that's been grafted into the back of this truck. I'll put a couple pictures and videos maybe up on screen here because you can't see it that well, but I'll show you what we've got going on. So at first glance, looking at the truck, you would think that we've just kind of got wheels that don't have very aggressive offset. You'll notice the disc brakes, which there are disc brake upgrade kits for these trucks, but then as soon as you go underneath, you see that we've got the Mustang suspension out of an S550, as well as coilovers. And so far, this has been a really bulletproof rear end. I've been making, for sure, 626 foot-pounds of torque to the ground, to the tire, and no issues. Everything's been holding up great. So that was kind of my initial thought with putting this in the truck, is guys are making 800 horsepower on Mustang rear ends all day and having no issues, maybe upgrading the half shafts, the CV axles. So that might be an upgrade in the future, but for what I'm doing and the power I'm making, it's been working out really good. And should I ever take the truck to an autocross or something like that, it should handle pretty well. And so far on the streets, it's been handling really good. I've got full adjustability on all 4 corners with the coilovers, so super pumped about that. And that will bring us to number 6. So speaking of the power that it makes, 626 foot-pounds to the tire, about 600 horsepower as well. We got to talk about the power plant behind that allows it to smoke the tires, and that is this LS. It's a truck motor base, 5.3 that I built myself. First motor I ever built, and I actually had the motor before I had any vehicle to put it in. I bought the motor with the intention to rebuild it, learn how to rebuild engines myself, and then find a vehicle to put it in later on, and that's exactly what I ended up doing. I've had that motor for probably 4 or 5 years, and it was just sitting. I finally said, you know what, we're gonna finish it up, and I've had this truck for about 2 years. It sat there, and I was like, those are the perfect two to go together. So this LS, it's an LM7, it's a Gen 3 iron block, 5.3 liter truck motor, and it has been performing awesome. I had some oil leaks that had to be dealt with at the start. The rear main seal was a kit that I had bought with the whole rear cover, and the front main seal had to be redone as well. I had the guys over at Renegade Auto Works in Rockport do that for me. So big shout out to them, thank you guys. But other than those 2 oil leaks, there's been no issues with this motor. I would rebuild the exact same motor again in a heartbeat. It makes great power, it's been reliable. I've put probably 1,000 to 1,500 miles on it. The speedometer doesn't work, so I don't really know exactly. I could look at the hours on the Holly, but so far, no complaints. It's been awesome. It's a V8. You can't go wrong with an LS. And yeah. The other thing about that being a built engine, all of the parts inside of it are rated for about 1,200 horsepower, so there is room for me to grow and potentially go to a twin turbo kit or something that's gonna produce more power and it still be reliable. All right, number 7 is kind of a creature comforts thing. I daily drive a 2022 Ram 2500, and in that truck, I've got a real nice CarPlay screen that I get to use whenever I have to go somewhere. I can use for my GPS, I can use it for my radio, etc., etc. So the one thing that I wanted in this truck, since I was building it for drag and drives, was a GPS, and I ended up putting this CarPlay Pioneer radio in, and it's been awesome. Here's what it looks like in the truck. Nice doubled in. I don't remember the size of this. I'll try and find it and maybe put a picture up right now. This is just an Amazon special. I think it was like $400 or $500. And again, great upgrade for the truck. Has CarPlay, everything that goes with CarPlay. Works with the radio, no problem. I upgraded the 2 speakers in the front to some Kenwoods. I haven't upgraded these ones in the back, but so far so good. Okay, so now we've covered the power and we've covered how we're getting there. But the big thing is how to stop all that power. So that brings us to number 8. All of this stuff up in the front, the big brake kit, the control arms, the QA1 coilovers came from AZ Pro Performance out in Arizona. This is their 13-inch big brake kit for OBSs, so it's a 2-piece rotor, which I thought was really cool for a 35-year-old truck, and a big old caliper on there. It's got React 2-inch drop spindles. It's got the QA1 lowering coilovers with, I believe, 650-pound springs, maybe 700-pound. And then it's got classic performance tubular control arms. And what else? I think that's everything. I've got all new steering components in the front, just Moog OEM replacement tie rod ends and ball joints and everything. So that's number 8. Big brake kit in the front, and then disc brakes from a Mustang in the rear. Number 9, I briefly talked about earlier with the Mustang rear end, and I just talked about it again, is the coilovers on this truck. So full QA1 suspension all the way around. The coilovers in the rear are 150-pound springs. I've showed them in previous videos, and I think the ones in the front are 650. The nice thing about that is currently the truck drives exactly how it did stock, and it's really nice and cushy, super soft. And then if I want to stiffen it up or I want to adjust it for the drag strip or autocross, go under there a couple clicks away and get it dialed in for whatever settings I want. So QA1 coilovers, number 9. Number 10, so I'm gonna sound real spoiled right now, but this was a Christmas gift from my wife, and it's my carbon performance design intake manifold. So this intake, it's a little bit dirty right now. I got the intake and I got their fuel rails to go with it. I seen this thing, I think like on SEMA shows, photos from SEMA or some kind of car show, and I just thought they were always so cool. Everybody at the time was doing the Holley high ram intakes, and I thought this carbon one was way cooler. It was a little bit pricier, but my wife decided she wanted to spoil me for Christmas, and that's what I ended up getting. So super pumped about that. It looks awesome under here. I got to tidy up all the rest of this engine bay so that that's more of a focal point, and it looks great, performs good, and yeah, that's number 10, my carbon performance design intake. I haven't really seen them that often, to be honest. I always see the Holley high ram, probably because they're relatively cheap and proven. All right, number 11, I keep finding myself coming back into the truck. Number 11 is gonna be all of the cup holders that this truck has. So it has the original 2 down here that aren't the greatest, and they're there. I can still use them. The screen doesn't get in the way, but the 2 that I've been using the most are these 2 right here that attach to the Motion Raceworks shifter. I said all the cup holders, but really what I meant is those 2 right there. These 2 have been awesome. I could put my wallet usually in the one, and then I'll put a drink in the other one, and they're invaluable, I would say. Worth the money for the upgrade on this shifter. Okay, now, this being my first LS swap, I wanted to make it as easy as possible, and to make it easy, you need to have something to control this engine that's easy to follow, easy to install, and for that, we went with the Holley Terminator EFI kit. We have the Terminator X Max. So if I wanted to go to a 4L80 or 6L80, I believe, I could go to that, or potentially an 8HP. I know that the tuner that I work with, Dr. EFI, he's come up with some sort of magic that allows the Terminator to work with 8 HPs, which is really cool. But we've got ours tucked in the glove box right here. Looks a little bit messy right now because I am using it as a glove box, but we've got it tucked right there. I can see all my lights for diagnostics if I need to while I'm driving. If a cam sensor, crank sensor goes out, or O2 sensor, whatever the case might be, I can see it all right there. I can tuck everything back in the glove box. I got my cam sheet in there because I always forget it. And I can hide it all away. The one thing I need to work on is tidying up my wiring. I've got my output to my little dash over there, and then I've got another one for USB when I plug into my laptop. All right, number 13, I'm gonna loop in as a two-piece deal because it's, to me, what makes these trucks awesome. It's the bench seat with the armrest that you can pull down for the driver. I'm on the passenger side right now. And my favorite thing probably about this interior, the sliding window. Nobody has that anymore in their trucks. A lot of people just have one piece of solid back glass or the remote switch up top, which is cool. But this to me reminds me of these old trucks, and I love it. All right, number 14, something super simple. These new headlights. The blacked out buckets with the clear lenses and the original orange markers, to me, just set this truck off. It looks great. Let's close the hood, get a better look. I had the original lights in there. They were kind of fogged out and old looking. This really freshened up the front of the truck and gave it kind of a sinister look. They look really cool at nighttime too, with the amber light bulbs on the bottom. Okay, headlights were number 14, and then number 15 will be another upgrade that I did around the same time. These sport mirrors. I think they really clean up the truck as well, give it a more sleek, sporty look. So that's number 14 and number 15. All right, number 16 is the wheels for this truck. I've got 3 different sets now. I've got these welds, which are 20s. They're 8s in the front, 10.5s in the back. I've got my Forge Line F14s, which are a drag pack, so there's 17s on both front and rear, skinnies in the front, 10.5s in the rear. And then now I've got these VMS racing wheels, which are also, I believe, 10.5s, 17. They got a 305 45 17 on there right now, and this truck tucks a 305 with no issue. So being 2 very popular platforms, the OBS and the Mustang, there's loads of wheel options for this thing. Usually with the F14s, I run a wheel adapter so that I can run the Mustang bolt pattern front and back. Right now I'm running a weld with an OBS platform and then a VMS with a Mustang bolt pattern in the back. So lots of wheel options for this truck, lots of different looks that you can give it, and just good variety. Being able to switch it up and have it look like a race truck one day and then a cruiser the next day is really cool. So number 17 kind of goes right off of that same train of thought with the wheels, is this stance. So when you combine all the different wheel options and wheel offsets, the coilovers, the Mustang rear end, the OBS lowered front end with the big brakes, you get this stance. And it's not super aggressive, but you can tell that there's something going on. I mean, come on. Look at that. Number 18 goes right along with that stance and that look from the outside, is the sleeper intercooler peeking through the front. Not the plate, but the intercooler. When you're walking up to this truck from far away, you can kind of see the piping and a little bit of an outline of an intercooler. And I think that just kind of adds to the what the heck's going on with that thing. All right, 19 is the sleeper license plate. I thought that was kind of cool. The truck does not look as much of a sleeper as it originally did when I started, but that's the license plate, number 19. Number 20, last and certainly not least, is that this truck, the OBS Sport Black with the red interior and the red stripes, is the truck that my brother and I grew up in, getting driven to school every day from our grandpa. He has the exact same truck, not as much modifications, actually no modifications done to it, and his is a 1992, but that was the main reason that I went with the OBS platform, especially the Sport with the black and red accents and the red interior. This truck body style gives me so many good memories. especially once I turned 16 and my grandpa used to let me take the truck to school by myself and drive it around town. It was the coolest truck that you could have on the road at the time, no matter what else was on the road. So number 20, my favorite thing about this truck is that it reminds me of my grandpa. All right, guys, so that's my 20 favorite things about this truck. I'm sure there's things that I'm missing or things I didn't think of right now, but those are the 20 that popped into my head right away. I'm sure there's other things that I could talk about. I could probably talk about this truck for days, but that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what else you guys wanna see about this truck. There's some interesting quirks and cool things about it, but if there's anything you want me to go more in depth on, just let me know and we can do a video on it. Other than that, thank you so much for watching another video, guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll talk to you later. Peace.